to you, SandileSwana, political analyst. Welcome back to our platform, Salam Media. Haven't spoken with you in a long while, and lovely to be connecting up with you once again. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Julie. I hope you've been keeping well, and the listeners of Salam Media.
Thank you indeed. Lovely to have you here. So now we're going to be looking at Cyril Ramaphosa's intended trip with 4 other ministers, and the headline says to mend relationship with Trump. But in the same article, it goes on to say that Cyril Ramaphosa is not breaking a sweat over US President's latest genocide claims, but he's not ignoring them either. So what do you believe is the situation with Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African sentiment regarding the supposed white refugees to the United States? And based on that action, how do you believe this delegation is going to be engaging with Donald Trump? To me, it seems like a very minor issue, but perhaps you as a political analyst views it very differently.
The atmosphere of what is, in theory, a very straightforward discussion, the problem is with the atmosphere in which this meeting is taking place. The atmosphere is defined by the charges laid by South African government, led by Ramaphosa, at the International Criminal Court, and also in the International Court of Justice related to war crimes, crimes against humanity, committed by the State of Israel, the number one ally of the United States in the Middle East, and also the genocide activities that continue in the Palestinian territories. Now, Trump has fired warning shots to all concerned. Karim Khan, the chief prosecutor in the International Criminal Court, has discovered that he has no further access to his bank accounts, emails, etc. He has been moribund as the sanctions by the United States kick in. Those types of sanctions are intended for anybody who assists in any way the International Criminal Court. And South Africa is front and center in prosecuting Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Gallant, Yoav Gallant in that court. Our lawyers and our Minister of Justice and Foreign Affairs are directly involved in that. So we are directly involved in that. So we are liable to those sanctions as well. So Trump has fired the warning shot. So that frames this meeting. Also, what frames this meeting is the American propaganda around saying that South Africa is committing a targeted white Afrikaner genocide. If you live in South Africa, you know how difficult that is, because if you see a white farmer, you don't know whether that one is Afrikaner or not, because there are Portuguese here, there are Greeks, there are all sorts of people here who are not necessarily white Afrikaners, but they are white, and you cannot tell them from a distance. So nevertheless, the 49 people that have gone over to the United States, in legal terms, these are ordinary immigrants who are part of a process. Now, I think when I did the calculations, if I remember correctly, we export about 5,000 people to the US every year, right? So 49 out of 5,000 does not signal a spike. In other words, it doesn't show that there's an exodus of fleeing refugees out of South Africa. What it does signal is that people want to take advantage of the white privileges that do exist in the US and economic opportunities that will be presented to them in the United States of America. There is no legal basis, no military basis, no police basis or other security basis for anyone, anywhere, at any time to say that there is a refugee situation in South Africa. The Wits University, one of the professors there has already announced that there are no grounds for any basis for any refugees in South Africa. So the top knowledge generation centers within South Africa have confirmed that these are not refugees. And I am sure Harvard University, MIT, and Stanford in the US would have done the same. So this is a fraudulent attempt by Mr. Trump and company to put a slur to paint South Africa with the genocide accusations, which have been tested against Israel and found to be so, but have not been tested against South Africa. And the best place to discuss genocide is the ICJ and the United Nations, not in Trump's office. So nevertheless, on the trade side, we have been trading with the United States on merit since 1871. Very lately, the Americans offered, without us asking, the AGOA program, which is a small percentage of the trade that we've done for centuries. Now, on the basis of that little trade that they offered us under AGOA, they make all other kinds of cultural and political and military demands that we must comply to. And I would hope that Ramaphosa is not going to be dragged into that trap. So I expect that Ramaphosa will insist that let's go back to where we were and how we've been trading since 1871 without AGOA, without US aid, and all these other complicated issues that then seek to compromise the sovereignty of South Africa. Lastly,
Okay, we carry on. Let's just finish that last point and then we can go for an ad break.
Lastly, the issue of America interfering with BEE laws, Expropriation of Land Act, NHI, which are laws inside of South Africa, is a big problem. In the first instance, people must remember that the idea and principles of BEE and affirmative action were crafted by an American, Reverend Sullivan. Oppenheimer, or Anglo-American specifically, let me not say Oppenheimer, Anglo-American, the corporation owned by the Oppenheimer family, in 1982, launched affirmative action programs in South Africa. ESCOM in 1982, in 1985, ESCOM launched their own. So it was not even the ANC that started BEE and affirmative action. It was started by the Americans and by white South Africans, big business, and the ANC simply continued with it. And the Americans have never objected to that. So it's a fake argument that has been raised by Trump to try and paint South Africa with the same brush that Israel is properly guilty of. Thank you.
Okay, let's go for an ad break. My guest is SandileSwana. He's a political analyst. We are weighing in on the trip by President Cyril Ramaphosa and 4 other ministers to the US to have talks with Donald Trump. More on this interview right after the ad break. Please do stay with us.
This is Salam Media.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal South Africa's Breakfast Club aims to get a warm, hearty meal to underprivileged children so they can spend their day prospering in their schoolwork. Help feed a needy learner for only 5 Rand a day, or 150 Rand a month. Or visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
This Eid al-Adha, donate your Qurbani through African Muslims Agency. We ensure that your Qurbani not only feeds the poor, but creates sustainable incomes for local farmers, teaches the practice of sacrifice to villagers, and shares the spirit of Eid. Sponsor in South Africa for 2,950 Rand, Africa for 2,000 Rand, Afghanistan at 4,500 Rand per share, or other countries around the world. Donate your Qurbani with AMA and know that your sacrifice brings the mercy of food, empowerment, and joy to communities in need.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, bakkies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zindeling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
Abu Huraira narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, in black seed there is a healing for every disease except death. Experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib Black Seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed range into your routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. It's exactly 8:20 a.m. This is News and Views on Salam Media. We're talking with SandileSwana. He's a political analyst, and we are looking at Ramaphosa with a delegation of 4 other ministers to Washington to confront. I'm not sure if it's going to be a confrontation. Knowing how bombastic and impulsive Trump is, I'm wondering if our delegation are not going to be going with cap in hand and what those results are going to look like. But anyway, to meet with Trump regarding the white genocide claims and also to reset US-SA ties. Let's see how that pans out. Your thoughts, Sandile, regarding Trump's personality. He obviously sees himself as a demigod and the ruler of the world, never mind America. He believes that if he says jump, we're going to ask him how high. Having said that, he is a bully as well. Having said that, do you believe that when our delegation gets to the negotiation table, that Trump might insist on Ramaphosa to withdraw the ICC and the ICJ cases against Netanyahu and and his genocide on the Palestinian people?
Thank you, Julie. I think the issue of the charges at the ICC and at the ICJ is of paramount importance to Donald Trump. And every other thing is really academic, of academic importance, other than to say that he would prefer that South Africa becomes one of the satellite states of the United States. Now, the bargaining chip that Trump is going to put on the table, which he is fully able to do, is that if we do not drop the case at the ICC and the ICJ, like the chief prosecutor of the ICC, Karim Khan, Ramaphosa and a list of others are going to be subjected to personal, individualized economic sanctions. It appears for now that there are even sanctions on the internet and what have you, a cyber attack, a cyber confinement of anybody who's involved with the prosecution of that. So the counter to that from Ramaphosa's side is to point Trump to the ready-made solution that was agreed by the United Nations, which is the two-state solution that needs to be implemented in Palestine together with other nations of the world. So that is where the cookie is going to crumble. And for now, obviously there is going to be what Trump has done. I think we need to clarify this, the moral problems here, is that by launching these sanctions and all the other aberrations and insults against South Africa, he has actually created the impression to his Western allies in Europe, especially Australia and so on, that America lives outside international law. America lives outside the agreed multilateral organizations, be it the United Nations, the WTO, and so on. So Trump is leading a lawless administration. So Ramaphosa has got the moral high ground to a degree during the G20. The EU expressed solidarity with South Africa. Let's hope that they have found their courage now, the Europeans especially, to be able to say, Trump, do not continue with this lawless behavior. We will not support you in that lawless behavior. So that is the issue. And that issue takes us directly to the two-state solution that was agreed, that the 1967 borders must be enforced in the Palestinian territories.
We do know that America is one of the superpowers, but how is it that a man like Trump will not subscribe to the rules of engagement like other governments all around the world does? Why is it that global leaders have not called him to account? Why are we allowing him to get away with murder, so to speak? Together with Musk, they truly believe that they are the current rulers of the world. Something has to give. Can global leaders not come together and say enough is enough? This cannot carry on as it is. This cannot carry on unchecked. Or is he such a powerful leader that people feel hopeless and helpless in his presence, and they're also afraid of the type of punishment he will mete out to these different countries and their leaders?
Let's not talk about different countries, Julie, because people might suspect that we're beating about the bush. The countries that need to tell Trump to stop this nonsense are the European Union, specifically the European Union. The European Union has supported Trump in many unilateral wars, illegal wars, including the decision by the Americans to adopt Israel as their local territory in the Middle East. And to promote Zionism and so on and so forth. So you will start to see European officials saying that, no, this is a genocide, etc., etc. But they need to then go further and say, let's finish this thing by going to the UN resolutions. We cannot accuse the BRICS countries generally, especially China and Russia, and even Iran, etc., of actually supporting Trump in any of this. They are objecting to it, and they've been objecting consistently to his behavior. The people that give Trump a little bit of confidence are his puppets. For instance, in South Africa, the DA, Solidaridad, and all sorts of right-wing organizations in Australia, right-wing organizations. Canada has been very disappointed because Trump just threatened to annex them, so they have no strength to support him. So mainly it is those Anglo-Saxon countries, number one, number two, the European Union, that need to come to the party now. So let's not implicate everybody in this. It is the members of NATO, especially the European Union, that needs to say, we draw the line here. If need be, we will implement sanctions against Trump ourselves.
Let me wrap up the interview by asking this question. I think it might be very significant indeed. Trump was currently in the Middle East. He's probably made his way back to the States. And he cut deals with trillions of US dollars. I think it was Qatar that gifted him with a jet, a personal gift amounting to, I've even forgotten, but it's also in the billions. And you kind of wonder about the Middle Eastern leaders. Does this not reek of complicity with Trump against the Palestinian people? And of course, supporting Netanyahu in his absolute madness. I mean, I just heard and just read the latest headlines that the last hospital, I think it's the Indonesian hospital or whatever, one of those hospitals in Gaza has been bombed, which means there are absolutely no medical facilities now available to the people of Gaza, let alone the fact that humanitarian aid has been cut off totally to the people of Gaza. And if they're weaponizing healthcare, they've weaponized food and weaponized everything imaginable under the sun against the Palestinian people. And the whole world is silent on this issue. It is absolutely disgusting.
I think you will forgive me because I am a supporter of the non-aligned movement and a supporter of BRICS, if I were to be open about it. Now, but when it comes to the Arab League, the Arab brothers there, we must distinguish two levels in this so that we know where our problem comes from. The general population of the Arab countries does not necessarily support the genocide or Trump. However, over time, Trump and company and the Americans more generally, the CIA and so on, discovered in the governance system of those nations that you can actually take some of the most influential leaders, keep them on your payroll, and they will do your bidding through a corrupt arrangement. For an example, an Arab nation can build its own military capacity and create a military coalition to protect the interests of the Arabs, rather than pay a protection fee to the United States and outsource the security of the Arabs to the United States, which is no security at all. That is capture, that is a prison, that is a concentration camp, really. So the people, the Arab peoples, are now in a problem that their own leaders are selling them out to the USA. And that has been going on for a very long time. And that has worsened the position of the Palestinians and created unending chaos in the Middle East. So the leaders of the Arabs, the office bearers, are divorced from the interests of the general population. That's how I can explain this.
And absolutely sad situation, disgusting to say the least. But thank you indeed for weighing in on these matters this morning. And to all of those people that have been commenting on our socials, thank you indeed for your comments as well. But that's where we're going to leave it till the next time for another in-depth talk on world politics. SandileSwana, political and governance analyst. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. God bless. Take care.
God bless you. Thank you. Bye.
8:32 a.m. news and views on Salam Media, and we're moving along with lots of other interesting interviews. Do stay with us and keep your comments coming in.
Do we need to?
Having a problem with guests.
Yeah, we don't have 8:35 guests yet.
Okay.
We'll just do 8:57.
An entire family